Okay.
Hello, welcome everybody to episode 63. Wow, that is crazy. 63 of the Go Figure podcast. And today we have Cherish Richardson here with us again. Oh my God, we are so excited to have you on. So we've had you on, we think it was around episode 27 in the past. Very early on for us, and we were just blown away by just how humble you were, and you are one of the biggest rising stars in Lisa and I, in our opinion. We truly believe that you have what it takes to be the Miss Olympia, and maybe the person who has the ability to one day carry on from the great, amazing Sid Gillen. Who we love too, by the way. Sid,
we adore Sid.
Yes, we all do.
we love you. We love you. Always sparing love and war. And
yes, but we just can see that, you know, one day Sid will be hanging up her heels, and who will be there to take her place. We think that it could be you, Cherish.
We made that prediction in our first podcast. I'm like, you're going to be Miss Olympia one day. It's not a matter of if, it's just when.
And we're gonna work. We're working towards it. We're working towards it. It's not something I'm taking for granted. It's not something that I think that's entitled to me. I'm definitely working for it, you guys. So, woo.
When we ran into you, so we also ran into Cherish when we were over in the US, because she happened to come and see us at Georgia. She's running down the street and going,
and we're like,
and we all had this group hug, and it was just so amazing to see you in reality. Like we just love you and think so highly of you, and to see you in person over there was just so special.
It was so surreal. It was like we were just talking on our. You're here. Oh my goodness!
I know. It really was. And during that time, you know, you shared with us some really deep news that had happened for you, and that I think is having a huge part in your prep, and it influences your prep and your life in a huge way. Would you feel comfortable like telling people, I guess, about your journey over the last 6 months and a few things that have happened? You kind of wrote a post about it yesterday as well.
Yeah. So of course, after the Olympia, we got right back to work. So we've literally been in prep from November, and we were having shows selected, and of course I have work life as well. And then as late early April, my father passed away, my godfather. So not my biological dad, but my godfather, who plays a huge role in my life, like been with me for 18 years. So, and he transitioned in April 9th. Don't really know the exact date. But yeah. And of course, in April, the season is starting bodybuilding wise. So of course there's shows set, and he had wanted to go back to Olympia because he had such an amazing experience at the Olympia, and he just was such a my biggest supporter, and like just rooting me on. And just when he went to Olympia with me and he saw everything happen, he just was like, next year we're gonna do better. We're gonna come back. We're gonna be in Vegas. Like he's like starting to pre-plan stuff. He's like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have shirts. We're gonna do this. And just the community of bodybuilding, and him meeting my fans, my coaches, my friends, my makeup artists, like everything. Because you know, after everybody go get big meals, and I had a lot of my family and friends and people I knew coming, all of them. He's just like, this is where you belong. Like kind of like a confirmation, like you have good people around you. So like to lose him, well, I'm not gonna say lose him, so for him not to physically be here anymore, because he's always with me, it's different. And this prep has been so hard, like to say the least. And I just feel like every prep, everyone says every prep is hard and no prep is the same, but for me, every prep literally has been like tooth and nail hard, to the point where it's like, do I still want to do this? Olympia, I was in the hospital for a whole month,
weren't you? Like the last,
the hospital for having rhabdo, traumatic rhabdo, when they were saying, hey, you're gonna have to get dialyzed. And you're like, when you hear that at 32 years old at the time, you're like, everything I do is physical. I'm a firefighter and I'm bodybuilding. Like that's my life. So like if you do that and I gotta, and he was with me during that time and we just stayed. And that's when I was going through my faith. And he was like, we're gonna pray. God is the ultimate doctor. There's no final answer. Like just keep praying and we got this. Do everything the doctor say. And then look what happened at the Olympia. You know what happened after that. Let's not just put it on the Olympia because I got promoted and I became a sergeant as well. So I was overcoming that. And then now this prep, I don't have my supporter here. So it's just like instead of like when I was sick, I can talk to him, but this time it's like I don't have you like to reach in the phone or wake up in the morning and see a text message or send you my little check-ins like, hey, coach is happy, or so those things I don't say I took for granted, but I do miss them. It's the little things. And so for my first show of the season and him not to be there, because he was like, I'm gonna carry your bags for you. And we pray before every show. Like I either FaceTime him or he's right there with me. And I pray with him and I'm like, hey, or I'll call him while I'm backstage. I need one more prayer. And I literally pray right before we get on stage. So like that routine is gonna be a little different. So it's hard to adjust. And this prep, I mentioned on my social media, I did have moments where I wanted to quit. Like it was like I can't, like I don't have the energy. Like I just like I never felt this way. Sometimes I feel depleted energy wise, just like mentally, and I'm like I don't have it. I don't have the mental fortitude. But I hear him, and I hear him like clear as day, like Kat, we don't give up. Like I said, we're going back to Olympia. So because we left out of the Olympia, took pictures and ate and stuff, and he seen the little pillar that had the advertising for the 60th. He was like, what's that? I said, oh, that's the one for next year. And he looked at the date, put him in his phone. He was like, oh, we're going back. I said, no. I said, yeah. Yeah. I said, no, I can't go back. I only play sports. He said, no, we're going back. I'm booking my tickets. We're going. I said, are we going to watch? Or he's like, no, you're going to compete. And we're going. I'm like, that's how much faith he had in me. Like to have someone have that much faith in you.
That believes
It
in
speaks
you
to
more than it's like someone that believes in you more than you believe in yourself. And
exactly.
that's he was the person that was he helped you regulate. But I tell you what, Cherish, there's one thing that I learned in life, because I'm like that with my nonna, who passed, and she's always with me. People don't die, they change forms.
Yep.
Right? So their energy, their essence, their signs that they leave you, which is like everywhere, right?
Yes.
Everywhere, everywhere. It's like what I learned in my journey was to give that, was to believe in that, faith, to believe the more I believed in my faith and my core values, the more signs I saw from Nonna, the more I felt Nonna, the more I heard Nonna, and it allowed me to emotionally regulate a lot more. And I would dare say, like, you're feeling him all the time around you. In fact, maybe when you go to the Olympia this year, and I'm just going to put it out there because he's doing that, right? We're going to need to get t-shirts, but with him on it.
Yes, I have all that.
Oh,
that's
so good. That's excellent.
I would love that. And then I have like the quotes. I gotta get the photo that I want, but it's a quote that he always say. He has so many. So I'm thinking about just doing one and just like, because when I tell you this season is for him, like whenever I step on stage, which you could tell is soon because of diet face, but shall I win? There's gonna be just like a sigh, just like we did it, not me, but we did it. I think this one is just gonna mean that much more, like it just feels so different. Oh
yeah. And has there been has there been positives? I know that it's really difficult when you're dealing with grief and loss during something like this, but have you come away with things where you've gone, oh my God, I've grown in that space, or this has helped me become a better athlete in some way? Like, have you taken any positives away from, such a terrible experience?
Oh, for sure. So in 2006, my oldest brother was murdered. And at the time, I was in college. I mean, high school, excuse me. He was my male figure. So when I lost him at 16, you're emotional, you're a teenager in high school, and you don't have a male figure. So I became very vulnerable, and I was in a very, very dark place where I did try to commit suicide. I did try I was very, very dark, and I just did not care about anything. And then for my godfather, Cotton, he stepped in and was like, I see you getting ready to go down a bad path. I'm taking you under my wing. And he helped me with everything, college, like anything I needed, he was there for. Firefighting, school, everything. So after he passed, it hurt because death isn't, unless you're just different, but death hurts, like regardless.
It's
So
hard.
to compare where I was then to now, I genuinely believe that he prepared me for this moment. He's like, we set things up. We've had a whole bunch of conversations. Like, I got baptized while he was here. Any big thing that I accomplished, he was there for. And he did his purpose on earth. He knew he was here for a purpose. He said, God has me here for a purpose. I know it. And when my time is done, he's going to take me. And when he transitioned, there's moments where I'm just like, oh, just overrun. I'm like, oh, you're not here. You're not here. You're not here. But you left things for me to be able to, you gave me the tools to handle what's going on right now. So like, it doesn't feel weird. Absolutely. Cause it's like, you're supposed to be here. You said like in November, which was like 2 days ago, we're going back to Vegas, we're going back to Olympia. And it's like, that's not going to come. It's going to come true, but it's not. He's
Not
not
in the
here.
form that
Not in the
had
form, that you had envisioned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I will say that those are the positives. Like, there's moments where I'm like, I am very, very upset, but I don't have any dark negative to harm myself. There was times in my life where I woke up and I'm like, why are you waking me up? Like, I just like in my car, I'm just like, if I just get into a car accident right now, it can be over with. Like, none of that is here. So I do see that, and I'm proud of myself on that end, because this is a very, very like a traumatic, like heavy loss. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm always up and about all the time. I do feel heavy, but when I do, it's like, okay, let's go to the gym. Let's do it. There's times where I'm repping it out, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I'm just crying. But I literally, and it's weird, and I can't believe I'm saying this a lot, but I would see his silhouette just standing there, and he's like, "Come on, you got another rep," and I just start laughing. I'm like, "You're right," and we'll do it. So
I totally
he's
believe
with
that.
so proud.
I think that's so important to like, to hear about someone doing a prep where it isn't easy. It's not easy. And yet you persevere through, because life's, doesn't it? Like, life is lifing no matter where you are or what you're
No matter.
doing. It's going to come at you, like, regardless. And
Yes.
I think that it just shows what an amazing athlete you are, that not only have you been through such a tremendous loss, but you've also risen then to the occasion and gone, you know what, I'm going to keep pushing on. And yeah, there's days I'm just a mess. There's days I'm falling apart. But I just keep getting up and I keep doing it. And
in spite
finding
of that,
those little pieces of like gold along the way, and just trying to pull those out and keep yourself going. Like, what a tremendous athlete, like, amazing.
You would know, Rose, too, because a week before we flew out to the Triple O Dynasty, you had to bury your father-in-law.
Yeah. And it's, throughout my prep, I was also caring for him. He was very, very ill, like, to the point where he required care and, toileting and all those sorts of things. So it was very difficult, but and that's why I think I wanted to really pull this out today, to let listeners hear that, life does it's not going to stop, and you might be involved in a prep and something terrible happens, and it's about finding those tools to go, okay, how do I keep going when really bad stuff happens? How do I keep going? And I guess an even bigger point is, what made you keep going? Was it the fact that how did you find that motivation? Because it could be, you could very easily have gone, you know what, I just, this is a terrible loss, I can't do it. It's not the year for me,
not the right
too much has
time.
happened. I can't do it. So where did you find, I guess, where did you find the oomph to keep going? Yeah, the boost.
I would have to say God. Like, after he passed and I came home, and it was still in disbelief, and I just like, because he texted me that morning, and he sent me a long message, and it was it was just so rough, and I didn't get to respond back in a timely manner because I was at work, and work is very crazy. For all that don't know or knew, I'm a firefighter as well, so it's not like I can, and it just
He's a
sucked.
hero.
So at first I was angry with myself. I'm like, why do you respond back? Like that, like to me in my head at the moment, the response could have been different. So I came home and I just literally sat on his couch, and I'm just staring around, and I'm like, my body was numb and disbelief, of course. And I'm just like, what do you do now? Like, what do you do now? Like, I have two choices. And of course you trigger back to, because PTSD, I'm like, I've lost someone that meant a lot to me before. And it was my brother. And I was like, well, what did you do then? I tried to overdose. I was like, we're not doing that. You try to self-inflict harm. I said, we're not doing that. He would not. We've grown. And I literally, like, the crazy thing, not the crazy thing, but my godfather gave me his Bible once I started. I was like, let's start reading the Bible. And I literally just opened it up and I just started reading over. He always wanted me to read the book of Job, where Job lost everything, but he went from having everything to losing everything. But God still, like, never, the devil was messing with him, but God still honored him in the midst of it. And he was like, so basically the message was like, right now I'm in my Job season. Like, I'm losing things, I'm gaining things, but at the end I'm still going to come out on top. So I'm like, let's just keep pushing. There are days where I'm just like, like, I'm literally saying to myself, like, Dad, you lucky I love you, because I'm just ready to just be done. But it's like, no, because he didn't teach me that way. He didn't raise me that way. I went from an adolescent at 16 doing all these things and chasing after guys looking for some fulfillment, to, like, now I had the father figure for 18 years of my life that brought me to 16 to 33. And here we are now. Well, yeah, 14, 13. Here we are now. Like, I have different tools, like, it's like, no. So I will say now I have to, because I'm going to therapy as well. And my therapist wants me to also to recognize that all my fuel can't just be from him. I have to have other sources as well. So now I'm trying to work in that. So I have him to always motivate me, of course, my strength, and Jesus Christ. So I'm always going to do that. There's moments where everything is overwhelming and I just cry. Of course I get it out, and then I'll pray, and I just like, God, give me your strength. Just give me your strength to get through this. Just give me your strength. And I'm no longer looking at it as, I literally take it day by day. And then first I take it hour by hour, literally, then day by day. Because one minute I'm like so happy, like I could be on, like, during this call, I'm happy with y'all. And then after I get off, I can, like, literally cry and be like, oh, I want to call my dad and tell him to watch it. And then so I'm very, very vulnerable and emotional. So I'm just like, let's take it day by day. Like, I may not feel how I feel today, tomorrow, but day by day.
That's important, I think, you're just not putting that pressure on yourself to feel any certain way. Like, you're just letting yourself feel what you feel when you feel it.
Right. And I'm learning to do that because before I would, like, feel like I can't feel this way because I'm at this age, and, like,
Trying to suppress it.
Exactly. And everyone's like, that's not healthy for you. And I'm like, well, this is different, like, and I keep saying, like, when I lost my brother and I was that way, I had Cotton, my godfather, to go to. So now to have someone to lose, I've lost, and who's no longer here physically, and to feel the same way I feel, but I have no one to be an outlet to. I'm not gonna say I don't have no one, but in that figure, because my best friends and everyone is there. You guys even reached out and gave me advice too. It's just a different relationship with everyone, where you have that person, and to not have that, like, who is now my outlet. Well, before my godfather left me, he was like, your outlet now is God. You should be going to God first. Pray to him first, and then go to everyone else about the problem. So now that's my outlet.
I'm going to bring something up there that you said, that's, because it seems like that's your spiritual health, whatever that is, from one person to another person, might be significantly different. God, Allah, the universe, the woo-woo fairies, whatever it is, right? Whatever your whatever your spiritual health is, it's something that you don't see, but it's something that you feel, and it's something that you can give something to when your physical reality cannot help you with it. Do you kind of get where I mean? when I say that, it's almost like, you know, like 3D reality versus 5D reality. You know, when you strengthen your spiritual health, you start to see how much more than the physical matter we are.
Right.
And so,
Yes.
do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, everything's not black and white. There is a lot of gray too.
For sure.
Right. So, you know, that's probably one of the things that I learned over this last 12 months as well, is that the more you strengthen that, it's like the CEO that runs the show, right? Up here, you know, it sits on top of you, your higher self, God, Allah, whoever it might be. When you have an implicit connection, an implicit belief and faith in the assured expectations of things yet to come, and you trust the journey, and you marinate where you're at right now, and you don't try and fight it, even as uncomfortable as it might be, I generally find that that's one of the very important attributes, if that's what you want to call that, that all successful people have and get better at every single time they loop, because every time you prep for a show, you're going through that journey and it's something different, but it's still going through that, strengthening that pillar of your health. So comparatively speaking, your first journey compared to this journey, what would you say is the difference in substance for you in that area of your spiritual health?
That's a good question.
The deep one.
So, like, when you like, as far as like my like as an amateur prep, or just like in life general?
No, like, you know, when you got fourth, when you debuted in the Olympia, it's like she
Yeah.
got
Oh,
fourth.
yeah. But
So that was a journey anyway, because we had you on, we talked about that, and you were just getting into your faith. You were just kind of like, you know, dipping your toes back in on it again, like it was there, and you said, oh, I've just started reading the Bible again, and now you've had a year
yes,
and a whole lot of stuff happened.
yes.
So in terms of the leverage you have on your spiritual faith now, and your health and God and all that, how is that different to that last win that you had on the Olympia stage?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm.
So, I would say it's different only in the sense of, like, now my faith is up and I believe in Christ, but I also believe in myself.
Mm.
So last season, there was a lot of doubt, because it was like, this is new to me. Like, you have to trust something that you don't see. Like, it's such a mental and spiritual game last season. Like, it was like, I'm back at the doctors again. What are my numbers going to be this time? God, like, even before I open the envelope, I'm like, God, please, it's a quick prayer. And it's just like, but I didn't have the belief in myself that I'm doing everything right. I'm resting. I'm not going outside in 90-degree weather outside. I'm drinking my water, coconut water, everything they're telling me to do. That was the missing piece. You needed all three. I'm not going to say I believe in myself I'm not going to take away from myself either, but I'm not going to say I believe in myself, because you guys know I don't ever want to be confused for arrogant or cocky. So I believe that's a fine line when people start believing in themselves, that it can just push over. So I kind of flirt with it. And my godfather, and I talk to Justin about it a lot. Like, I never want to be arrogant, ever come off, ever, ever. I
You
don't care
definitely
what God
don't.
has
You
in store for
definitely
me.
don't come across like that.
But sometimes people can, and it
Oh,
gets to
yeah.
their head, and I don't ever want that. So I do have faith in myself, and I'm giving myself more grace. I'm being more fragile with Cherish. I'm like, give yourself grace. You're not going to be okay. And that's okay. Like, when somebody asks me, are you okay? And for me to be like, no, I think that takes so much strength than to just give that easy button answer. I'm fine. Knowing inside you're not. Like, that's the difference. Now I'm acknowledging my feelings, and I'm like, I'm not okay today. I'm not okay. But what can we do to make today better? Like, Cherish, you're not going to sit here and feel sorry for yourself because no one feels sorry for you. So what can you do? But you're not okay, but that's okay to not be okay. So I'm just like, okay. And
It's
then I
like,
pray.
what are you going to do with what you've got today?
Exactly. And then when I do accomplish those little hurdles, I'm like, oh, we didn't have any negative thoughts today. Even I'm so fragile. Oh, I didn't argue with anyone today. It's those little things that you have to pat yourself on the back for, because no one know where you came from. Only you do. So I'm like, you know what? I didn't curse no one out today. I'm proud of myself. Pat on the back. I'm like, oh my God, no one said anything slick to me. And then now I'm prepping, my hormones are everywhere, like I'm don't have carbs and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, my patience, that usually would irritate me, but it didn't irritate you, Cherish. Like those little things. So I'm giving myself more grace. I'm giving myself a little more congratulations, like high five. Like, I'm so happy for you. Like those things. So I would say that was the missing piece from last season. Like now I have some belief in myself.
It seems like you've evolved in like mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like diet and training, that's the easy part. People think it's the hard part. That's the easy part, right? Like no carbs, that's the easy part, right? How you respond to it is your emotional and mental health. That's the hard part, right?
Very.
The food is the food is just the effect. The training is just the effect of everything. Whereas if you flip the script a little bit, if people, especially in our industry, start spending more time on their mental and emotional and spiritual health, go to therapists. It's a lot more at the top level I'm seeing now. And Rose and I, we have the same therapist as well that we speak to.
I love that.
Yeah, so we have a beautiful lady called Cardio. She's about 72 years old, and she does things like EMDR therapy and Reiki and like just so many different modalities. And at first, Rose was like, because her background's in psychology as well. She's got training. Like, just trust me on the woo-woo. Trust me on the woo-woo, right? And I had therapists my whole life, and this one particular woman, Claudia, she was able to do what, and when you find a good one, this is the best part. She was able to do what all of those therapists couldn't do in one session. And, we've been with her ever since. And I think that's really important to people that are listening to this, Cherish, because you're quite open and vulnerable and authentic and go, hey, you know what? It gets real fucking shit sometimes. And this is the sort of stuff that I want to do. And I see a therapist, and it's not a bad thing. In fact, it's kind of like when you want to get a strong body, you go to Justin. He gives you your program, your food protocol, whatever it might be. You've hired a coach. You've hired a therapist, a body therapist. Now you're hiring an emotional and, and a mental therapist to support you there. You go to church and the priest and the pastor, he's your spiritual therapist, right? There is no, we need, as a society, need to start connecting the dots here and recognizing that, you as a being, we're more than just physical matter. We are mental, we are emotional, we're spiritual, we're hormones and and biochemistry and physics and physical matter as well. So that is something that I've seen, me personally, because I watch you, I've been watching you the whole way through, that I've seen that you've really, your depth in those areas have really risen. And now they're idling really close to, your food and your nutrition and your physical health. And when all of those cogs on the wheels are idling at the same frequency, and you're giving yourself the space to evolve in those areas, only magic can happen. That's where synchronicity happens, right? And something that Sid mentioned when we had her on our podcast in December last year, she's like, boundaries, 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 lots of freaking boundaries. And it's not that they're inaccessible, they're trying to be inaccessible or anything like that. It's just that for her to be, and we'll talk about this in a minute, because this is going to get your opinion on this, for her to be at that level, like she's going for her 8th Olympia title.
Yeah.
Could be someone else. I don't know. And it takes all of what we've just talked about, but on a much larger scale. And so there's a lot more of, you know, that discipline that is needed for that. So off air, we were making the analogy of, do you remember when we did our first show? Like, I'm talking amateur show, like true novice, never competed before.
Yeah.
Just
Do
went up
I?
prepping for that first show. And we thought it was the hardest thing in the world. Like, we thought, geez, that takes so much discipline and so much dedication and all the rest of it. And that was like, you know, 20 years ago for me. It was a long time for you, and same with yourself, Rose. And then we look at where you're at right now and the contrast.
Yeah.
For you. How about we share with the rest of the listeners about what you have, or how you have evolved to get to that level, in contrast with where you started? Because some people think, oh, just keep doing the same thing, eat my macros, and I'm going to be Miss Olympia one day. Yay. But, where
No,
it's like you have to retrain yourself. So what did your journey, when did you start realizing, like, shit, I got to kind of pull my finger out right now and just start, you know?
Honestly, I would have to say after Tampa Pro, when I placed second to Jessica Padilla. When I did that, and I just went in because it was my new season with Justin. We were just trying to test the water and get that relationship between the coach and the athlete. And we went out there with no expectation. Like, I just was like, okay. And always want to place top 10, because I know that as a newbie, you guys, when people say top 10 is good, yes. But then once you start knowing where you at, top 10 that's the bare minimum. So that's where I was. No one knew who Cherish Richardson was. I said top 10 will be great. And when I placed second, and all the feedback I got, and even from Justin, he was like, yeah, we have something. So I was like, I just stood next to Jessica Reyes, like top 2. Like, they pulled us back for confirmation, just me and her, and we went toe to toe. Oh, I belong here. So it was like, but let's keep going. And that's when it fired, and it was like, I feel seen. Like, I ran track and played volleyball and collegiately. And I tell Justin all the time, like, there was a time during that where I didn't feel like I reached my potential, because I didn't reach my potential for factors that was whatever. And maybe God was like, this is not where I want you to shine at, right? That's not the platform I want you to use. But here in bodybuilding, I feel seen. Like, I'm like, they see my true talent. They see the hard work that I've put in. Like, everything I've done, whether, like, no matter if it was a bad prep or a good prep, everybody sees it and it's acknowledged and it's rewarded. I feel like I belong. Like, I have confidence in myself. I like how I looked in season, off season, improving season. I like how I look. So Tampa Pro was when the switch changed, and it was like, oh no, yeah, you got to put the big girl draws on and let's go.
And what does the big girl draws look like for Cherish Richardson?
Woo, girl, oh my goodness, it is the beginning of it. It's more mental, like you said, and I tell everyone, physical, going to the gym is definitely easy. Like, you can be emotions and going to the gym, but you're not going to have an effective workout if you're not mentally there. Because you might be like, I'm going to do four reps. That was good. I'm going to do 5. I'm going to do 25 minutes of cardio. I'm only going to post for 15 minutes, because nothing was intentional, because you weren't mentally there. But you're physically there. So you're like, I was physically there, so I did the work. No, you didn't. You have to mentally be there. That muscle-mind connection on every rep, yeah, I need to squeeze every time the right way. When I post, I need to flex and hold every time, but I mentally have to be there. So I have to be present in all of that. So that's the hard part, because there are days where I'm not mentally at 100% while I'm there. And I can sense it when I'm in the gym, and I'm like, no, this session is not going to go in vain. Get yourself together, Cherish, and let's go. And it's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but losing is going to suck even more. And I don't ever want to go on anything in life and look back and be like, I didn't give it my all.
And have regret.
That would be my biggest to me. I don't know what everyone else's is, but that would be mine. And I just would be like, so for me, my big girl underwear consists of always mentally being there. When I'm getting off of work and I'm tired, like I get off of work at 7 a.m. and I leave work to go straight to the gym. I don't even come home because I know if I come home, I'm gonna want to sleep and do stuff. And then I really like started a new routine. I'm like, go straight to the gym, go work out no matter how you feel, then come home. And then you have the rest of your day to yourself where you can just decompress. So that's been my biggest, to just dial in mentally. So, and it's hard. It is mentally. You trying to train this muscle up here is completely different than just going to get a curl, picking up a dumbbell and doing bicep curls.
It's so interesting you say that. With myself and my competitors and Rose, we've been working together now for 18 months. I go through this behavior change model with my clients at the start of their journey, and they're like, what's this got to do with like training and getting big muscles, And I was like, okay, come back to me in 20 years and let me see if you have the same question, if you have the same, response to that. And one of there's 4 steps that I have into the behavior change model. The first one is the law of cause and effect. Okay. So the law of cause and effect is you have a choice to be in the driver's seat or in the passenger seat. You can choose to respond or react to your environment or act in your environment. You can act with ability or disability. So if you're letting your environment control you, you're going to be up and down, back and forth and all over the shop. So that's the first key to success in the behavior change model. The second one is self-respect versus disrespect. And that's all about your core values. Know who you are, know what you stand for, know what your purpose is, know what your faith is, whatever that might be and what you believe in. The third thing you just brought up there, and that is mental and physical commitment. And I like to put in there emotional commitment as well. I don't know anyone in any area of life that has ever been successful when they're not mentally, emotionally, and physically committed at the same time, at the same frequency. And so that is monumental, because the more you practice that muscle, the more you roll your sleeves up and practice that workout, the easier it gets.
Exactly.
And Cherish, I don't know if you've had this conversation with Sid as well, because I know you did some posing with her. But she's like, I just don't get people who's not mentally there, because she's been on since she was 12 years old, And
yes.
So for you to actually bring that out now and say that, I'm like, well, now you've taken the training wheels off, girl.
I'm trying to keep my balance. But yeah, it definitely is hard. And I commend anyone who's been able to do that and who has, consider yourself blessed if you didn't have any trying times where it knocks you off, for you to be like, I don't believe in this. This isn't working. Like this, meditating, what time to myself? I can't have time myself. I need to slow down. No, only way I can operate is if I'm on go, 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 go. No, you have to give yourself grace. So for me to be in this place in my life, I'm happy with it. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm also excited to see where it goes, because I know just once I start organizing some things in my life, I will feel 10 times better. My chief at work, him and I spoke about the transitioning of my father, and he was like, you had a safety net. That safety net's no longer there, so now you have to fly. So there's a lot of things that comes with flying. I can flop, I can, or I can soar and get a nice little breeze and enjoy it. So we're hoping to get the nice little breeze and enjoy it. So that's what I'm looking for.
I love that. And do you think now, that you have found that you're more open to being vulnerable and reaching out and asking for help and sourcing the right people, places and things to support you in your journey?
So I'm not there just yet, because I always had my godfather. So but I do have people that reiterate and reach out to me, and I love, and I'm so thankful and blessed for that. It's just, for me, it's uncomfortable because I am so used to doing everything on my own. When you're so used to being so independent, it's very hard to break that. And then sometimes you're wondering if people are genuinely being authentic and genuinely being there. But since then, like literally, like I said, like I told you guys before we got on, the people that my godfather's seen at the Olympia and everything that came leading up to Olympia, who've been around me, including you ladies, you guys have been genuine and authentic, and I don't see it changing. So yes, I will step out my comfort zone, and if need be, for advice. Just like when we spoke in Columbus, and Rose, you told me about the transition of your father-in-law, and it was like, okay, like she can be vulnerable with me, I can too, and I'm whatever she, how she's coping with it can help me, which it has. Like, have those moments, be vulnerable, like you guys said, like the candles and stuff. Listen, almost dropped out, but yeah, I'm just like,
doesn't that work? Doesn't that work? Literally,
I'm like,
I got another good tip yesterday, actually, and that's to like get a photo of the person and like blow it right up and like have it, and then like really look at the eyes when you're like talking to the photo, and like a lot of that can really help too. Like that really does help, like really looking at the eyes of the photo and really connecting,
almost like blurring everything else.
Yeah. So that's another little tip too for people grieving.
All right, y'all, real quick, I know we live. I gotta go potty because the water went through me. I'll be right back, I promise.
So this is a first.
I almost had to do that in our podcast yesterday, actually, Lisa. I was really, really needing to go to the bathroom, to the potty. I love that. Go to the potty.
I love it.
I was just so like, I was almost having to get up and be like, sorry guys, I've got to take off.
So for anyone that's watching this now, obviously we don't record live, but it's like we started at 7 and had a half an hour conversation with Cherish before we actually got on air. So we will be wrapping it up.
We've been on the air for a while. Yeah,
we have, so
she's justified
and she's in her peak week, so it's very justified. So we'll definitely be wrapping it up soon because I'm guessing that she's
all right.
I was going to say,
sorry, honey.
I'm like, she's probably got her next meal coming up very soon.
And how much water have you already drank today, I wonder?
I'm gallon and a half.
Look at this, look at the bottle, everyone.
That's not a bottle.
Water loading is not
That's
fun.
a bucket. That's not a bottle.
I was doing so good, and then I was like, after I readjusted, I was like, oh, we gotta use the bathroom.
Yes. Yeah,
that's okay. That's what I love about this, because it's just all unfiltered.
I almost got on. Yeah, I almost got on here this morning, like completely. Like I was just laying in bed at 6:30, going, "It's so cold. I don't want to get up." And I'm like, maybe I could just go on there with like no makeup and just like roll out of bed and just have my hair everywhere. Like all I did was just like chucked a bit of mascara on to try and make myself look half decent.
But, you look good, girl.
God, no.
You know what? That's what isn't it great about peak week?
We don't
care, do we? We're like, you know how far deep in prep someone is when the clothes get bigger and baggier and the hats and the hoodies go on and the headphones are on even before you walk in the gym. There's like this beeline for you and straight to the change rooms.
I literally don't care how I look, whatever I throw on, whatever I grab, especially when he's like, you have fasted cardio today. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna look for an outfit at 5:30 in the morning. Let me just grab something and go. And I look like a whole like homeless person.
Oh my God, I'm the same. I'm like literally look like a homeless person whenever I train. Like,
nothing matches, like hat very low, hair is like, I'm just like, oh goodness.
Yeah.
Look, I've had times where I've dropped Kai off at school, not gotten out of the car because I've had my PJs on and just like a jumper over the top so I don't look completely feral. And because I've got a gym in the garage, I'm just going, I'm just going to come home and, and I train in my PJs. I'm like, it's just one less set of clothes you have to wash,
Right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Totally.
So ideal. I would love to just go downstairs and be like, yep, I'm just going to roll out of bed with this on and train into that.
It's great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you have this problem, Cherish, but like I have outgrown so many sports bras. Like I'm still in the same size pair of pants and leggings, but the back thing, And
Oh,
you get halfway through the day, not even like after one meal, you can start feeling that thing getting tight, and
yeah,
you feel restricted and like bits are hanging out
yeah.
everywhere. So I hate wearing sports bras so much so now that I stick with my baggy t-shirts, and you put those little nipple covers over so you don't have to slip it down.
You're good. Like you
And,
are good. You're set.
and I'm
Like,
just like,
listen,
oh, I can breathe. I
I
can get my lats out.
exactly. That's more of my issue because I'm very, very flat chested. I'm part of itty bitty titty committee, but I
Yeah,
have
me
like
too.
my bras. They'll like be under my lat, and it'll like irritate it. Or if I told Justin, I have problems taking my bra off, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with this headache, so I'll just put on like 2 tank tops and wear under my work shirt, so I don't have to put a bra on for work.
Bingo, that's it. Yeah. It's great if you're a bodybuilder. It's really crap if you're trying to wear normal clothes, and dress up, because it's just, yeah. Anyway, but listen, my dear, we are so excited about the, peak week for you. We said we're going to get you on afterwards. I know you're going to the Olympia, and like Rose and I have said right from the start, I truly believe with everything that's in me, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to predict it, so everyone listen, that in the next few years, you will be the next Miss Olympia, 100%. I'm predicting this year, I'm predicting second place at the Olympia, with a possible, it's really like, it's just, even when Wendy and Linda yesterday put up the similarities between you and Sid, there is no one on this circuit, on the Olympia circuit, that comes a bee's dick close to Sid in terms of structure, except for you. And there are the most magnificent, phenomenal bodies in figure at the Olympia. The standard is off its freaking nuts.
Yes.
But like I said from you at the start, and I remember when Rose and I said, who's this chick? It was your first pro show. I was like, what the fuck? It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, that's the next Miss Olympia. That's her, So yes, I, avid fan. You're a beautiful person inside and out.
Oh, yeah.
And we're so
Thank
grateful.
you. I love you ladies so much. So much.
Yep. So
I love our conversations. It never feel like it feel like we're just chatting and catching up.
Chatting, that's all it is. And for everyone out there, I truly hope you get behind Cherish, send her a message. She'll get back to it eventually. She really appreciates it. Send her your prayers as well, and do a little rain dance and a little woo-woo dance for her, because she's got peak week this week, and I'm predicting that you're going to be taking that Olympia qualification as well. So
are you and make sure you share the live stream for people, Cherish, so that they can jump on and watch you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that with the schedule, because I think it starts 11 a.m. here in Georgia. So I don't know if the NPC is first or what, but I think it shows it all on there.
So Rose, we'll go and have a nana nap during the day.
Yeah.
2 a.m. in the morning.
And a lot of people a lot of people that follow the podcast do reach out though, and they say, oh, when's the show going to be on and stuff. So make sure, guys, that I'll jump over onto Cherish's page and have a look at, because she's going to share the link for you guys to watch the show.
Yeah, I'll definitely, Ooh.
I know. And like, it's all setting in now, isn't it? It's all becoming real.
I get nervous. It's like, exactly.
So
bro. I'm getting all those. I'm like, oh, it is happening. We were just 16.
It's not happening. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
You've already won. You've already won, girl.
It's not happening. It's done. It's always in that being present in that present term. Like,
exactly.
What would Dad say if he's here right now?
Yeah, let's get it, Kat. Let's go.
Get it, Kat. Yeah. And what's his name?
John Cotton, but we call him Cotton.
Okay, Cotton, John, I know you're up there watching us and this podcast right now. So we're dedicating this podcast to you today. Thank you for creating such an incredible woman.
Yes.
Such an amazing job.
ladies.
And this one's for you. We absolutely adore you, Cherish, honestly, and
Yes.
we wish you the best of luck. And we just want to continue building this friendship that we have over the years from now onwards. And we'll be over there before you know it again, and we'll have another catch up. Hopefully, it won't be in the middle of the road this time.
Right. We'll act like we're humans and civilians.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that was the best. Though. It's so good to see you over there.
Yeah. Just for those that don't know, we saw each other from a distance. I could pick, Cherish out because her shoulders are like gigantosaur like this, and then like her quads were just like boom. She'd take a step and they'd ricochet. And we didn't even get to the side of the road. We're stuck between the hotel and the convention center in the middle of the road for an hour and a half having a chat.
Literally. And I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, they have a show in like hours. Get off your feet and get home.
Yeah, like it was the I think it was the eve of the show for us or something like that. You know, we had just registered for it. So
you were totally worth it. I was worth me.
Oh,
it was
thank
worth
it was worth it.
our feet for a lot. Like,
It
I would have been on there
definitely
for hours. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Right. I
But
was
like-
like, I gotta get ready to drive back. But no, it was a pleasure finally meeting you guys, and the energy that you guys show through your podcast and everything you do is the same in person. So you guys don't switch up, and I love it. I love you ladies. You guys are so inspirational. I love strong women. I love y'all.
Go forever. Strong women unite.
Brilliant.
And
Go figure.
Exactly.
Go figure. Pardon the pun. But
Nothing to mess with.
we'll leave you and love you on that note. We'll speak to you once we finish this podcast. And I hope everyone has enjoyed this podcast today. Will be not the last one, one of many more to come. So Cherish, thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.